So you've just made a great defense of the bar and bat mitzvah, but and touched on what my issue is, which is cost, financial cost. So I think it is the moment when the divisions in the Jewish community are exposed, the social inequality, which is widening throughout America and widening in the Jewish community, and it is the moment when one part of the Jewish community can sometimes really quite embarrass. And I don't just mean by excessive display, but by making them feel bad because they can't give their children the kind of bar or bat mitzvah that perhaps their classmates are getting. So then that overshadows the whole wonderful Jewish learning aspect of it.
But what I'd like to propose is if there was real substance, real understandable substance and meaning to that, the process leading up to bar mitzvah. And by the way, some synagogues do this really well. I think I'm speaking very generally here.
Canadian synagogues?
I was actually once a rabbi in Toronto, just, full disclosure there.
Wow, we're going to have to excavate that after the show.
But if we did that better, it feels to me that desperate search that goes on for these parties might happen less. Maybe we would care less about the theme. Right? I used to tell my children the theme of what's my theme going to be? How about bat mitzvah? Yes. Could that be the theme?
I'd like my bone to pick are the mitzvah projects.
Oh yes,
which I think have taken on a life of their own. And I've 3 daughters. All were bat mitzvah. All did mitzvah projects of a sort.
But I think it comes from again that place that the stuff that they're learning in the institution doesn't have any meaning. They're looking for meaning. So the next thing you know, they are working with a poverty-stricken village in Africa. Never mind we're 15 minutes from poverty in New York, right? We're going to do this project. And of course, we're going to fly to Africa to see this village so that we can feel very connected to it. We're going to ask everybody not to give presents to us because we want them to make a charitable contribution. And then we're going to have a $250,000 party that night to celebrate with a video of us in Africa with the village, right? But the problem isn't any of that, as far as I can tell. I mean, that's all silly, but it also could profoundly affect that child's life in a really good way. I think the problem is that the muscles we're trying to develop in these kids are muscles of communal responsibility and acting collectively. And instead, the bar mitzvah is just one moment of me as an individual, even as an individual philanthropist.
But isn't it good to have, even if it is me, isn't it good to have the me forced to do the mitzvah project? It has the word mitzvah in the title, so they got to pick up something good.
What were you going to say is wrong with the mitzvah project? This is new to me.
I think it comes on at the wrong time. I actually think it should be one of the ways that you engage afterwards.
Because they're too young to understand?
No, just because I think too many kids just drop out and too many parents let them. That their engagement with the Jewish community ends, as soon as they've written their thank you notes. And I think, I think they're fine. My kids did various things, soup kitchens and therapy dogs and, all the appropriate things.
Wait, that's different. Soup kitchens and therapy dogs are not the same.
But, different children. But, I think it would be much better if, first of all, it was connected to Jewish learning, and if it's something that followed the ceremony and the party.
If you want the bar bat mitzvah to create Jewish community, and having a bar bat mitzvah entails having all of your Jewish friends come together to celebrate something Jewish and talk about Jewish things, doesn't that facilitate Jewish community?
Absolutely.